Welcome back, everyone. We're doing an OCG Banlist reaction. So this happened while I was at locals. So the reactions was absolutely hilarious. One of my new homies at locals, in the Philippines, his name is AJ. He was playing Makonko today, and he didn't know about this Genator combo with Gen and Ken. So I showed him that today, and the same day this card gets banned. So let's hop right into it. Daniel, what are your thoughts about the forbidden section of this ban list?
Alright, so just to get some obvious stuff, right? I think Rose Whip and Harpy's Featherstorm needed to actually go in OCG because they were just those cards are just really toxic to play against, especially in their casual player base. So I can see why, especially since like Rose Whip was like the premise of Cool Tune for a while. So luckily in TCG, like we've been adapted to this already. So like we don't have to we get to play fair Yu-Gi-Oh. So this is fine. Call by the Grave. I'm so glad that card's gone for you guys just because this card is so obnoxiously crazy. I've seen so many games where just people just draw this card and your charmies don't resolve, your ash doesn't resolve. So like yeah, this card's a huge win for all of us. And then was it Junior Transverser, right? That's what it's called, right? That card has been culprits to like random locks and FTKs. So with that being gone, like yeah, that's one more step in the right direction for Konami. Like is absolutely amazing. Um, limited cards, right? Um, dude, they limited rotary. Finally, like this still does not solve the problem.
Yeah, I mean, they limited rotary, they limited synchro overtake, and then what is this? The cool tune. I forgot the name of this card. It's
Yeah,
cool
rotary,
tune
right? Yeah,
synchro.
total secret. Yeah. So if we're just talking about the cool tune hits in general, so when I was looking at pie charts, right? Um, Cool Tune was like for sure the first or second best deck in the room by far, and especially it was great for veteran players because like so a lot of the time when you're playing around like hand traps or board breakers, it is so hard for like a lot of decks to play around them. But when you have Cool Tune in the deck in the format where like it is a deck that gets to look at your opponent's hand for free, just like K9, um, you literally get to probably win the duel if you win the roll. So cards like Rotary, like that card's unfair because it all gets lets you say search. Synchro Overtake, that card is Tour Guide. That card's limited at one in TCG, so we get the same treatment. I think KTS might just go to two in TCG soon after like a Worlds hit or just after some amount of time, just because it is what is it twice per turn you can activate it. So if you open two, that's you're done for the duel unless you there's like I don't think there's a way to get it back, right?
I don't think so. I do not
Yeah,
think
so
so.
like if you draw two and you're forced to play it, nah, GG's, bro.
Also, this
So
unlimited section, they're letting me be free. I see Toad at 3, and I see Sprite Blue at 3. So I might
I'm
play Evil Twin Sprite again.
I actually do not mind these just because like the Sprite has always been like this resilient deck in the past that I think like the summoning mechanics for that is quite healthy because you have the card for Sprite to happen you need cards to stick on the board first and then you can special. So I think that's kind of cool. Toad is a questionable one because we have that banned I think in TCG. No, we have Bahamut Shark banned in TCG, right? So like this card's fine. Toad's fine at 3. Um see what else do we have here? So I'm an old head, right? This is like before Taj's time actually. So I'm looking at two cards that just got errated, which is Elder Entity Norden and Mind Master, right? The Norden thing, I think is like a very healthy hit for what they errated. It's a hard once per turn, and it's like it's I think with Cold Tune existing, you need this and just it, or even Doomsy too. You need a super poly target like this so that everyone has a chance to play Yu-Gi-Oh. Which I and then you can the thing that you pitch gets summoned on top so you can start comboing. So I think that itself in itself is probably healthy. But it does start chaos, so we will see what chaos will occur when this happens. Um, Mind Master though, this card is so crazy pre-errata. Like, how many times can you go like, what is it, brain research lab, pay infinite life, and like and pay infinite effects and just FTK your opponent? Like that's just unfair. None of this is a hard ones per turn. I believe it's also you tribute psychics. This card is pretty fair now with three teleport in the main deck. So I want to see what people could come up with this. knowing that this is like a hard once per turn.
Yeah, I also want to
Um,
mention that the errata for both these cards are just pretty much just their hard ones per turns now, which I think are perfectly fine. Like I played during when Norden was legal. I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh in 2017 in college at locals and then like in the college cafeteria. So I was around for when Norden existed. I have no idea what Mind Master was about. So I'm kind of glad I avoided that. I also want to touch on this Rose Whip card because had the opportunity to play at the Philippines WCQ as a walk-in. Even though I wasn't allowed to represent the country, obviously. Um, but I got Rose Whip 9 times in 3 rounds. So I had to deal with this card every single game I played in my 6 rounds that I played. I dropped out of 8. So like I played my heart out and it was like my first event in OCG. So my first event in like including locals was playing the WCQ. So I kind of went in super blind and I completely forgot Rose Whip was not hit. So my deck list at the time did not deal with Rose Whip properly. It's because I just assumed because Master Duel handled it, TCG handled it. I was like, of course OCG's got this one, right? But now it's here. Now it's banned. So this feels really good to play into now. And then Featherstorm. I actually got Featherstormed last week by Radiant Typhoon game one, and I was so shocked. I was baffled. I was like, well, this card is legal here. What in the world just happened? But yeah, outside of that, I think like the solemn cards are interesting for me because solemn cards are not hit yet in TCG yet, right?
well, solemn judgments that one.
Solemn Judgment's at one, but the warning is still like
Warning's
three
still at three, but like they
strike.
just like it. So warning's an interesting one too, because just because I think accusation is also legal for you guys there, or solemn report, whatever it's called there. And to see warning at two now in OCG, I think that just means that like they know that like people like playing low ceiling Yu-Gi-Oh. So like warning feels like a very safe card if no one's playing like degenerate board wipes or whatever. To just play in. So this is a shock to me because I've seen this card at two at one in the past, and like to finally see it at two again is like, yo, what is I want to know what Konami's thinking moving forward.
I don't think they're thinking properly. If I'm being honest with you, simply
Maybe,
because I feel
but
like
like
I've always felt like solemn cards are super healthy.
no, these like at what I think they were unhealthy in the sense that like you had four back row back then, and like the ceiling of the ceiling of like card pool, and just how you like were to play cards back then were super low. But now that like card ceiling is super high, with card pool like card power creep or whatever, this card like Solemn Warning doesn't seem like legit. But like if everyone's playing Charmies, Maxi, whatever, and people don't want to like commit to the board, this makes sense, right? But like the thing with Charmies, right? Like you have to have nothing, so it's kind of like you have draw, you have Maxi. So I think that's like, the other argument, right? But yeah, it is quite bizarre, at least
Actually,
in my at least in my space.
Now that you
Yeah,
mentioned Droll, we still have that at one in our format.
yeah, like that's something I want to touch upon too. Like I think OCG has realized that like these cards are just powerful. Like so you have to put them at one. Even Ash Blossom, the check charm is at two. Is quite powerful too. So the next in line probably is like Warning, and because it also stops at KTS, it also stops like Cool Tune and like the ritual deck to some extent. But like that's like kind of the thing, right? Like there's not many options left. And they're just trying to like slim down the card pool so that they can print new cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do you want to talk about this link in this semi-limited?
So yeah, so we actually like looked at this card for the first time today, just for like out of curiosity. This Blink Five Loki is obnoxious.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the effect for this card. It is pretty bonkers. We don't have it yet in the TCG, and I don't believe Master Duel has access to this card yet either. But this card is insane. So if this card is Link Summon, or at the end of the damage step, if this card battled, destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, then inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Link monster in your graveyard. While face up on the field, this card is also light, water, fire, and wind attribute, unaffected by the activated effects of monsters that share an attribute with this card. If this card with 1,000 or more attack would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can make its attack become reduced by 1,000 instead. So this is a crazy towers card for sure, and we were just so curious because like I haven't played against Toons yet, and apparently the Toon deck is ending their board on this, which is bonkers.
Yeah, so like the other thing I want to mention too is like this is a generic link monster, right? So like you can only imagine like a deck like Malice can take advantage of this, but like if the two deck realistically is making this right, so they're blink summoning, this card is like Appaloosa on some serious crack, but then like it's able to break a board because it just blows up everything. So I don't know how I feel about this, but like if it's like we keep running into towers cards, dude. The ritual deck does it, the tune deck does it. Like, yeah, when does this stop?
Exactly. Like I haven't seen this card yet, but apparently it's super super good. Um, but yeah, I think that's it for the banlist talk. Right? Is there anything else you want to talk about right now?
Circular at 2 is a little surprising. I think that card's gonna go to 3 next list because I don't think that deck will do anything. But the circular will always be a card where like if that card's at 3 and it's like the link stuff is powerful, it's cool. But like Splash Mage is gone, right? So you just might as well play Malice. The Rhino Heart thing, I think is like they want to debuff tier just slightly because that's a fan favorite deck of all time. But like it's the obviously it's a normal summon that can get hand trapped, right? So like that's just I think it's okay. Um, Trickster Reincarnation can go to 3 because Droll's at 1, so you gotta like get a little lucky. Um, oh, no, this is the most important card actually. The Starving Venom guy.
Really?
Yeah, so this card was banned. It was banned in TCG in 2018 because this was a culprit to an FTK for pen FTK, right? And I think to some extent people were doing that in OCG still. So you needed at least two to do the FTK every time. So putting it at one makes sense here, but letting you still play the card because it lets you copy stuff.
Oh, that's right. This was an FTK card.
So I personally think this card should be straight up banned because I've seen so many times like you just copy someone else's monster in their graveyard and it's a not hard once per turn. So if you ever have a chance to reborn it, it just does it again. But keeping it at one makes it so that like you can still play it, but it's not like an FTK type card anymore. So I think this is a relatively healthy hit if you have to hit the pendulum deck to some extent.
Gotcha. Well, anyways, I want to do a quick shout out to Respect Yu-Gi-Oh. He is a Filipino duelist. So I see him at locals every once in a while on Saturdays, and then yeah, shout out to him for always making the graphics and keeping me updated on OCG news. Shout out to him, and then you can follow him on Twitter too as Arknight. I think that's his name. I'll put his stuff in the bio, the description of the video. So, thank you guys so much for watching. This is our OCG Banlist reaction, and if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button. Help us out and let us grow. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.